In this video, I will be demonstrating the concept of computer simulations. Here's the definition. A simulation is the imitation of random or chance behavior using random devices such as random number generators or a table of random numbers. The basic steps for finding a probability by simulation are as follows. Step 1. Specify a model for the individual outcomes of the underlying random phenomenon. Step 2. Outline how to simulate an individual outcome and how to represent a single repetition of the random process. Step 3. Simulate many reputations, say n times, determine the number of times, x, that the event occurred in the n repetitions, and estimate the probability of the event by its relative frequency, x divided by n. Okay, so step 3, if I were a student, I think I would be confused. So I'm going to demonstrate this with an example. What we're going to do is simulate rolling a D20 die, such as you might find in a Dungeons and Dragons game or other types of games. So the first step is to identify the model or specify the model. And for this simulation, we will use the random integer function on the TI calculator. So when you're doing your homework or for this week, what you should do is write down the steps, just like I am, for the simulation. And in that way, you will be documenting your process clearly. So the second step is to outline the process. And for this simulation, the possible outcomes are the numbers 1 through 20, which should occur with equal frequency. The random integer function samples from a set of integers with equal frequency, so this function will be appropriate. And notice also I have specified the TI coding. I'm going to use random int 1, 20, closing the parentheses. Each of the function executions represents one roll of the die. So again, this is what you should be writing up for your homework for step 2, something like this. And then the third step is to simulate 20 rolls. So if you think back to the definition, the 20 would represent n, and there was also an x. So let me write this down. So for this example, the n from the definition is equal to 20. That's how many times we're going to roll the die on the calculator or simulate rolling the die. And then x is a variable, and x is going to be equal to the number rolled each time. So the results we're going to get from the simulation are going to be x values. And we're going to display our results from the simulation using a frequency plot. Now let's go to the TI calculator. So to find random int, press math, arrow to probability, PROB, and choose number 5. The coding is to put 1 and then comma and then 20 and close the parentheses. Now I press enter to execute the program. So the first roll was 11. And so what I might want to do is to start documenting the outcomes for these rolls on a frequency plot. And let me show you how to create a frequency plot. So the first thing we need to do is to draw an axis. And it's a sketch, so we don't have to be necessarily perfect. I'll label the axis with X. Now that X is is going to be the outcomes from rolling or simulation of rolling the 20-sided die. Now I'm going to number the axis. It's very important to do this. This way we have clearly identified what each possible value is from the simulation. Feel free to skip ahead in the video if you get tired of watching me do this. And I left a little space. Poor planning. If I had an eraser, I would erase this. But now let's go back. I forgot what the result was. I think it was a 13, but what was it? Go back to the TI. No, it was an 11. So I will come and I will put an X on the 11. Now I'll repeat the simulation. All I have to do is press enter. The next number that was rolled is a 1. I'll do a couple now, a 20 and a 9. And I would continue in this fashion. Now, I'm not going to do all 20 of the simulations because I think that would get boring, and I don't need this video to be quite that long. So that's the process. Feel free to send me a message if you have any questions.